Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Wednesday Tea and Toast. Few of us again with you this morning. So if you haven't seen us before, I'm Jasmin. I'm a conversation starter at the Yard. And because of the pandemic, the doors are closed of our building on Gold Street, but we are still open and we've moved everything over to online. So you can catch all of the team doing various things throughout the day. So before we kick off, let me introduce you to some of these lovely ladies I've got with me this morning. So we've got the lovely Georgia, who is also a conversation starter at the Yard with me. Morning, Georgia.
Morning, Jasmine. How are you feeling?
I'm really good today, thanks. How are you?
Fresh as a daisy.
Perfect. That's what I love to hear. Okay, then we've got the lovely Beth, who's one of our placement students. Hi. Morning, Beth. You okay?
Yeah, are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. And then moving down to Chelsea. We're hoping Chelsea's gremlins and internet doesn't play up today. Morning, lovely. Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Fingers crossed. Thanks. Good. Hopefully she'll be able to stay with us for the whole session. Then, Sarah, how are you this morning? You're also one of our placement students, aren't you?
Hi, Jasmine. How are you? Hi, everyone.
Really good, thank you. And then last but by no means least, we've got our lovely Laurel, who is our volunteer at the Yard. Good morning. You all right?
Yeah, you?
Yeah, really good, thank you. Really good. So, before we kick off we've got quite a few topics that we're all bursting at the seams to talk about this morning. We like to kick off and sort of do some sort of internal weather little thing to see how we all are feeling this morning. So what I thought we should do this morning, ladies, is because one of the topics we'll be speaking about at some point this morning is detoxing. So I thought let's all describe ourselves as a drink. If you were a drink, and that would, something that how you're feeling, a drink that could describe what's going on with you today, what drink would you choose? So, Beth, I'm going to kick off with you. What would you be?
I'm feeling like chamomile tea this morning because I am so tired.
I thought he was going to say I'm so chilled.
No, I'm so tired.
Oh yeah, I don't like chamomile tea. Does everyone? I'm not saying I don't like you, Beth, but I'm not a big lover of. For me, tea just needs to be a bog standard cup of tea. I don't want any of these other flavours. I need just normal tea. No. I don't know about you guys.
I don't like tea full stop, so I'm out.
Laurel.
Don't you, Laurel?
No, I don't like tea. Don't like tea, don't like coffee.
What do you drink when you get up in the morning?
I've got some juice I have from
Oh, no. Beth, do you not like tea either?
No, I don't.
Do you like coffee?
Yeah, coffee all day.
Oh gosh, you can't beat a good cup of tea. Crazy. Gosh, I can't believe this. So Sarah, what drink would you be?
I would say a raspberry mojito. I've never tried it.
Oh yes.
But I've told what it tastes like. So a bit of sweet and refreshing with a little kick.
Yeah, and I'm loving you bringing the alcohol out at 10:34 in the morning, Sarah. You're my sort of lady.
Yeah.
No, that sounds lovely.
Yeah.
I love mojitos. I've never had a raspberry mojito, but I've had just like your normal mojito, and they're good. Yeah, I mean, perhaps we'll all have to bring one to try next time. We'll sit here with a mojito at 10:34. That'll be an interesting conversation, ladies, wouldn't it? I love that one. Anyway, right, Laurel, what about you? Obviously, you're not going to be tea because you hate tea and you hate coffee.
I think I might go for like either Fanta or Coke this morning.
Okay.
Oh.
Because Coke has the caffeine the same that everybody else has coffee. So if I'm really tired, I will buy myself a bottle of Coke, full fat Coke, drinking some of that in the morning because it wakes me up enough to be awake, but it doesn't wake me up and doesn't make me drop after a while. So I don't have the sugar drip.
Yeah. Does that the full fat though? Does that not make your teeth feel? I can't drink full fat fizzy drinks. It makes all my teeth feel like furry.
No, I'm like people go, oh, it's really furry, and I'm like, I've never felt that before.
Oh, okay, perfect. So you're feeling a bit fizzy this morning?
Yeah.
Love it. Chelsea, what about you?
I would have to say that I am a nice cup of tea, 2 sugars. Kind of because I'm quite warm at the minute, even though it looks freezing cold outside.
Yeah. Love that. You can't just be your bog standard cup of tea in the morning. It's something really warming about it, isn't there? Yeah, good one. But not two sugars for me, 2 sweeteners for me. Yeah, definitely. But how do you like it? Do you like it strong, weak? Mine has to be like the tea bag in and out really quickly, but not too much milk.
Are you an in and out person then?
Pardon?
Are you an in and out person, like it dips in?
Yeah, I'm an in and out. Yeah. Don't like strong tea, like builder's tea. No. How do you have yours, Chelsea?
I always 2 sugars. I do like quite a sweet cup of tea, but it like tea bag has to be in there for a few minutes with a little bit of milk, so it's kind of like a beigey colour.
Okay. I love it when you look on those, you know, like those charts, and you can sort of see how people like their tea, how they like their toast. Let's do that one morning. Considering this is called tea and toast, let's get those charts up one morning and we'll see what we all are. Because I'm a really weak tea, and my toast has to be really hardly toasted as well. So I'm pretty plain. Don't like a lot of taste. But we've got to do that one morning. Perhaps we'll see if we can get it up for tomorrow. If I can find the photos of it, that will be interesting to see what we all are. Right then, Georgia, what about you? What fantastic drink are you going to come up with today?
So picture this.
Here we go. Here we go.
Okay, so I think that I am a delicious, sweet, fruity pina colada.
Ooh.
Because I love the pineapple, I love the sweetness, I love the sort of like creaminess, but then also I'd be like the pina colada, so it's in like a really tall glass, and there's lots of ice, and there's some like orange slices in there, and there's also like a little like cherry on top.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Love it. Pina colada. I can just vision that now. Cool. Right. So my one, I am going to be a lovely glass of Bucks Fizz. So you've got the orange juice element of it. So it's nice, freshly squeezed orange juice, because I'm feeling so good today. Like, although the weather is so miserable outside, orange juice, it makes me feel happy. It feels like sunny. My house is so quiet. My kids have gone back to school. All is good in the world again. And just topped up with a little bit of Prosecco. There's that little bit of fizz. I'll still be able to drive and pick them up because I won't be over the limit. So yeah, it's all about the Bucks Fizz for me this morning. Yeah, and that's a nice little morning drink actually when you're on holiday, isn't it? That's an acceptable 10:38 drink, I reckon.
Really?
Yeah. Especially on Christmas Day, 9 o'clock, Laurel.
Yeah.
As long as I've not got to do anything or look after children or drive anywhere, let's start on the Bucks Fizz. But not on a normal Wednesday when I'm working, because obviously that would be really unprofessional. So I'll just stick to my orange squash.
And that's definitely a Bucks Fizz in there.
This is just full on orange squash and water, I promise. Gosh, otherwise I won't be able to get my words out. I'll be all over the shop this morning.
Yeah, you'll have Bianca popping in. Going, what'd you say there, Jasmine?
Yeah. All of a sudden, I'll just be removed from the screen. I'll be like, whoa, where have I gone? Oh, okay, brilliant, ladies. Thank you for that this morning. So, where do we start? So, was it actually this time last week that we first started the whole Harry and Meghan conversation? I don't know if any of you guys were watching us last week, but just randomly, in the morning, I have a look at what's going on in the news, and then we look at a few things to speak about. And the Harry and Meghan thing was just something that I thought, we'll have a quick chat about it. But actually, it turned into probably one of the most, passionate, explosive debates we've had to date. Yeah, expressive on tea and toast. So it was really interesting. And what we said, sort of draw a line under it last week, because we probably could have carried on talking all morning about it, was we were all going to watch the interview, which we knew that was coming up, and then we were going to re-look at the interview. So, has everybody watched the Harry and Meghan interview?
I have to confess, I still haven't seen it because I'm an idiot.
Oh, Laurel.
About an hour
on the internet, so
only.
I've done some research. So,
okay, so Sarah, you've watched it for an hour.
Yeah, I'm still to finish it off.
Okay, so you've seen a good chunk of it, and then Chelsea and Beth and Georgia, you've all watched it.
I've seen an hour as well, so just over an hour.
Okay, so I watched all of it yesterday. So thoughts. Let's kick off on thoughts first. For how did everyone find the interview? Who wants to kick us off? Go on, Georgia.
So I think that it was absolutely vindication for me, because everything that I thought was happening, that's basically what Meghan said, that it was basically like racist and the media have like hounded them, and basically that Harry and Meghan just had enough of it and they weren't getting any support and they weren't getting, you know, things that they needed mental health wise from the royal family. So
from the institution.
Exactly, yeah. So I think that even then, like, even Meghan was saying the Queen is great. She was even saying the Queen was lovely to her, like they had really nice interactions. So she's not saying anything negative about the Queen. She was saying the institution is inherently racist and basically wasn't wasn't supporting them. So that's how I feel.
Oh, we have two.
We've got two Chelseas. I'm not sure what's going on here.
I'll remove one of them.
Yeah. No, what about you, Beth? What was your feelings and after watching it?
Too long.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, so long. Like, who has 90 minutes to watch?
Oh God.
I had to do it in 2 sittings, so I had to cook dinner in between. So I did half and then I did the other half. Yeah, so first of all, too long. What else?
I think the bit that got me most was when she was saying about her mental health and her suicidal thoughts and things like that. I think that's just upsetting. No matter what standing in society you are, nobody should ever have to feel to that point. Mm-hmm. And the backlash that she's got this morning from that, I think, is like shocking.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly, it seems to be, I don't know about you guys, but all that's been on the news since it was aired in the US on Sunday night, it's just completely overtaken the whole of the news, hasn't it? You know, that's all we really seem to be talking about, which seems quite funny considering we're in the middle of a pandemic and there's so many other things. Our nurses haven't had a pay rise, but what's dictating all of our news at the moment in the press is Harry and Meghan. So I don't know if you guys remember last week when I was speaking about Harry and Meghan, I said to you, I'm not a massive fan of Meghan, not particularly keen on her. I felt like she's been playing a game. I've always liked Harry, but as I said, I like the royal family. However, after watching that interview yesterday, I honestly think that my whole mindset on the whole thing has been completely turned. I actually came away feeling very, very sorry for Meghan. Very sorry for both of them, actually. When you sit and listen to what they have been through and how the institution has treated them, shocked me. Now, I don't know if because before I've been blinded by what the press is saying. I don't know why I felt so. I did feel quite strongly that I didn't like Meghan. I don't know why. It was just, but after watching that, I honestly can say I think it's horrendous how they've been treated. And actually, exactly what you said, Georgia. I don't think the Queen is the person doing all of this. It's other senior royals. The fact that they didn't feel it was necessary to give Archie a prince title, and that is the first time.
There is a reason for that. There is a reason for that, because I read something last night about that. There's a reason for that. I think it was Prince William in like 17 something wrote that he, after so many people, he didn't want so many people to be like his grandkids didn't want to be a prince. There is a whole news article on the BBC about that. I read it last night.
Well, that isn't what that was said in the interview. Sarah, did you want to say something?
Oh no, I was just going to touch on the idea of that they refer the royal as an institute, as a firm, which shows that there is someone behind there. It's not the Queen. It's probably not even the royals themselves, but there is some power behind there that tells all these guys what to do, how to behave, how everything is going to be done. So they don't seem to even have the power to do anything about it.
Well, there's these hidden people in the palace, isn't there? The top aides. These are the people who, you know, when the Queen put out that, what's the word? The speech, you know, the thing she did last night. What do you call it?
Like announcement.
Yeah, her announcement. I mean, she doesn't sit down and write that. Someone writes it for her, and she agrees it, doesn't she? So there's powers that be that sit behind the royal family in the palace, and faces that we will never see, that obviously make one hell of a lot of decisions that go on in the palace. But yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying, Laurel, but what they said in the interview was that it's unheard of, that there is no reason why Archie shouldn't have had a title. And actually, when Prince Philip becomes king, Archie will be the king's grandson. So he actually should be a prince. And I've actually always thought for Meghan, it's been about, she wants the titles, she wants the glitz and glam of it. But from watching that interview, I really felt, you know, they wanted the protection. That's what they needed. They wanted the safety, you know, getting death threats and getting treated the way they have been. There's so much more to this than probably personally than I've actually realised, and a whole lot more of racism than what I realised. Because I actually, when you guys were speaking last week, I was like, I disagree. I don't think there has been racism. But it really, really opens my eyes. Now, probably one of the most shocking things that was, I think, that was said was that when somebody asked Harry how dark Archie's skin may be. Now, what did you guys think to that?
Do you know what? It actually made me feel sick. I almost cried because, like, it's like what Meghan was saying about, like, this is the first person in this royal family who is a person of colour, and they're being treated so despicably. And it's just disgraceful, because you would think that, like what she was saying about how, you know, when they've travelled around the Commonwealth, when they've travelled around the world, etc., like, it's important for representation and for people to see themselves in their royal family, and the people who are kind of like advocating for them in a way and representing them. And then this just goes to show that there is just this twisted logic. And even Harry said I never saw it until I was with Meghan. So it goes to show how much they shield the royal family, and they probably lie to them, and they probably keep things from them. So they have this like warped sense of what their country's like. They probably walk around thinking, oh, you know, like barely anything bad happens, like there isn't racism, there isn't sexism, there isn't like all of this, when in reality it's all over the shop. Yeah,
and absolutely. And Harry actually said, you know, Meghan and any children they had should have been the greatest asset to the Commonwealth for the Queen. And to have done what they've done is just shocking. But I'm just going to play devil's advocate here for a moment. So don't jump down my throat. I'm not saying this is my opinion, but this is the conversation that my husband and I had. And he hasn't watched the interview. I have. So when we were talking about that whole thing, because obviously you'd heard it saying, you know, they were asked what skin colour Archie was going to have. And he said to me, but isn't that just the same when you were pregnant and we were going to have a baby and I've got darker skin and my husband's really pale? He said, there was a conversation that we had saying, oh, I wonder if the baby will have your skin or will have my skin. He said, we don't know the ins and outs of that conversation. And in the Queen's sort of comeback last night, she said, well, you may recall things differently to how we may. Is there a chance that this conversation could purely have been that, or is it actually this was full on racism? Just devil's advocate. Pardon?
Do you think they asked Kate that?
They could have asked Kate that. You don't know.
They did though.
But what about, they could have said to, when Kate and William were pregnant, they could have said, oh, well, I wonder what your baby will look like. There are those conversations that happen.
Yeah, but I don't think that there's a difference between, like, oh, even thinking about what your own child will look like versus how dark do you think your skin, like their skin color is going to be. That's like specifically asking about the racial appearance of the child. Because
I'm not disagreeing. I'm like I say, I'm playing devil's advocate. I don't disagree, but I do think that there are. We weren't party to that conversation. We don't exactly know how it went, and I do think there could be at times. Just I don't know, but there are those conversations. I wonder what colour skin they will have, or I don't know. It's like I say, devil's advocate. I think it was wrong. I think that for them to bring it up, they must have felt that it was a racist comment. Beth, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I agree with Georgia. I think there's a difference between saying, "Oh, do you think your baby will have ginger hair and brown eyes?" to then saying, "Do you think your baby will be the same colour as Meghan, or do you think they'll be lighter?" I think there's a point where you think, actually, you shouldn't really be asking somebody that.
Yeah, completely.
I sit on the fence. So just going out there, I sit on the fence.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, I know. Again, that wasn't my opinion. It's just, playing devil's advocate. But then the other thing with that whole statement, now, is it right that Harry and Meghan threw that bombshell out there but refused to name who it was?
I think they should have named who it was, because why would you say something and then completely not say who it is? Because that looks like you're trying to cover something up.
I think that's what they're trying to say, though. They're trying to say that, okay, so the last time in my memory that something to this extent, even close to this extent, happened was the whole thing with Diana. Yeah. And if you see about the levels of which she was pushed to her absolute, she was just completely alone, completely by herself. Like, she struggled so much with her mental health and like all this, that, and the other. So I think there's a part of them that thinks, I can't say who it is because it's going to cause so much of a rift and so much of a impact on the family.
Well, it's probably something that person will never recover from.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And then on the other side of it, it might be Charles.
Yeah. Well, they've said, Oprah's said that it's not the Queen and it's not Philip. They've said that, haven't they? So really, it's got to be either Charles, William, or Camilla, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a pretty big bombshell to throw, and then the whole nation are just sort of now making our own, coming to our own conclusions of perhaps who said that. Chelsea's saying, I think they are saying that are still loyal to them despite the goings on. I think they wanted the public to know what they were experiencing, so they were understood. Yeah, completely. I tell you what else I found really shocking about that conversation, that whole interview, that you get your passport and your keys and you get everything taken off you. It's like going into prison. I was shocked at that. Did any of you find that shocking?
Yes, I did, actually, because when she mentioned that she had been in the house for quite a long time, few weeks, and she wanted to go out, and then fine, they take away everything of hers, and there she was trying to go out to have a cup of tea with friends or anything, and then she says they take away everything away from them.
Yeah,
it's definitely, now it becomes like being in an institute, definitely, where you got nothing at all. You've got to get permission to do every single thing. They're not living like us, like normal people. You can't do anything on just like that when we feel like if I want to go to the shops right now, I can just stand up and do. They have to get permission. They cannot do anything that they want to do. It's definitely being like in a prison.
Yeah, I mean,
right, is it?
If any of you guys have watched The Crown, there's like I'm guessing it's kind of like dramatized, they're like filling in blanks, and all this. But the way that they portrayed Diana and her experience was basically like that, where she couldn't go out and do things, like she didn't have the freedom. She just felt really alone because she had no one to talk to, because even though she was in the palace, she couldn't like see her mate. She couldn't go and do all those things. And because she was relatively speaking like a normal person before, who could go out and do whatever she wanted to do, suddenly all of that was taken away. And so if you look at that and then put that side by side with what Meghan is expressing that they experienced, it's hard not to draw those parallels, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Chelsea's just said, I think we perhaps all saw the royals as something that was desired, and perhaps we were naive about what it was all about. And this interview has shown us it's not all as it seems. Definitely. And I mean, for those of you that haven't watched all of it yet, towards the end, when Harry's talking about his relationship with his dad and his brother, I found that really sad, because like you think, you know, William and Harry, like he said, we've been through hell together and back, and the fact that the relationship has become so fractured, I think is really sad. And like he said, at one point, Charles wasn't even accepting his calls. I think, you know, what made me think is, you know, if Diana was watching down now, she'd be horrified that such a wedge had been drawn between them. I think she'd be so proud of Harry for standing up, sort of, excuse my language, but having the balls to stand against the institution and do what's right for his family and keep his family and his wife safe. But I think she'd be really hurt that you know, how this has driven such a wedge between William and Harry. It's really quite sad. I think the overall tone of it at the end, I came away feeling sad.
The one bit I did see randomly of all the bits I did see one bit actually. There was a bit where Harry was saying, "Oh, they went up to see his mother, the Queen. They flew over there. They got there. She rang up to see his mother, the Queen. And she says, I'm sorry, I've got this engagement I didn't know I had. I'll see you some other time." And he's like, I've come here just to see you. You invited me over. I've come over to see you, and now you don't want to see me, and now you can't see me the rest of the week. It just seems a bit odd. They were invited over, but then not see the people you were going to see. It seems a bit odd.
Yeah, no, 100%. There's I think it leaves you with so many questions, that interview. I mean, like, I feel like I want them to do a follow-up now where we get to all ask a question each, you know, because there's so much more that I want to know. And pardon?
Put them on Jeremy Kyle.
Oh, that's exactly what we need. Jeremy Kyle. Let's get in the audience and get involved. But yeah, I mean, if you haven't watched it all yet, or you know, I definitely recommend watching it, because it's really interesting. And like, you know, especially from like myself, who's had a preconceived idea of what I thought, it really has changed my whole mindset on it all. But moving on from that, sorry, go on, Georgia.
I was going to say, and it's really good that we had this conversation today, because it is really good for Jasmin to be able to say, look, I had this idea, and I had these thoughts about Meghan and Harry before, and now I've actually learned from this experience. Yeah. So I definitely think that if you're watching this and you did have an idea about Meghan or Harry and that's changed since the interview, if you could comment and let us know exactly what's changed for you and your new opinions, that would really be interesting for us, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, 100%. So just moving on slightly, but this does tie in. So what do we all think about Piers Morgan leaving GMB? Who wants to go first? Anyone?
I didn't see it.
So did anyone see what happened yesterday? Right, let me fill you in. Oh, guys, what have you been doing? So did you all know that he's left? He left yesterday.
Yeah.
So what happened was, right, on Monday, so Piers Morgan basically has this long-running feud with Meghan. They used to be friends. She cut him off at some point, and he's really taken offence to that. So Meghan and Harry have got together. He slates her. He's got no time for her, and I think a lot of it is rooted into the fact he's offended that she cut him off. Anyway, there's always been this. Who have we lost?
Laurel. She said, "I'll be back. Internet's playing up."
Oh, okay. So he's always any chance he can have to sort of attack Meghan, he has done. Now, again, I actually like Piers Morgan. So again, you'll probably think, God, do you like all that? I like him. I think on Good Morning Britain, I tell you what he has done throughout this pandemic. He's taken all the politicians to task. He really has made them feel uncomfortable, asking the questions that need to be answered, and sort of getting, really putting them under the pressure. But what happened is on Monday, when the interview aired in the US, he went on GMB in the morning and said that he doesn't believe a word of what Meghan said. He doesn't believe she's had any health issues, mental health issues, and that it's all a load of rubbish. So I think Ofcom have had 41,000 complaints about him making that statement because it's actually, not his place to be saying whether someone has had mental health problems or not. Now, the guy, I don't know what his name is. Chelsea, do you know what is Alex? It's Alex who's on GMB. He does the weather. Sometimes he does a little bit of reporting. They were having a discussion live on air about Meghan, and he called Piers out. He said, the thing is, Piers, you constantly attack Meghan. She cut you off. You're obviously fuming about it, but you can't constantly put all this hate sort of across to her. People are allowed to have feelings and opinions and that. And anyway, the crux of it was that Piers Morgan got up and stormed off live on air saying, no, I'm not taking this, I can't have it, and off he went. Now, again, throughout the day, I think, again, a lot of people have complained about Piers, and then they came to a mutual decision with ITV last night that he was going to leave, and that was it. Off he went yesterday. And so Susanna was with Ranveer this morning, not her little sidekick of Piers. And when I heard last night, I follow Piers on Instagram, and he put a comment about, and you're laughing at me, Beth, because I follow Piers Morgan.
Follow on Instagram.
No, he's got some interesting stuff going on. But he put about midnight last night. He put, there's freedom of speech, and I stand by what I say, and I'll stand on my hill with freedom of speech. And he's happy with what he's done. So yeah, basically, in a crux, I've just filled you all in. So was he right to walk off? Is it right he shouldn't be on the programme anymore? What do you guys think?
I think I'll go first for this. I think he shouldn't be claiming stuff he doesn't really know much about, because technically he isn't a doctor, so you can't claim anything that a doctor will know. So I think that he's wrong to say that. I think he's wrong to say that he knows about mental health and stuff. He can know the difference between mental health and just normal anxiety and stuff. I think that's just wrong, because that's just technically fake talking. It's just just randomly talking. But I think that he needed to go. I don't really like the guy. I think he's good for talking about the government and how crap the government have been, but I think he's just now a bit past it.
I think the thing with Piers Morgan is he's a bit like Marmite. You either like him or you hate him.
You either like him or you hate him.
You are?
You either like him or you hate him.
Yeah, exactly. I like him. My husband hates him, and it is what it is. But what's anyone else's thoughts?
I think he's Donald Trump, basically. I think he just says things in order to jar people. I think he just says things for maximum impact. I actually don't even know if he believes 90% of the things that he even says. I think he just stirs the pot, and then when he's challenged on that, he then has a hissy fit and walks off, because he actually can't deal with being challenged about something, because he just assumes that everyone's going to go, oh my God, and be so shocked by it that they can't can't launch anything back at him, if that makes sense. When he do, he's like,
Yeah. Well, I think he's a bit of a showman, isn't he? He says things for a reaction. He wants to have the highest ratings on, and he definitely, like you say, stirs the pot to get that sort of TV golden moment. I don't know. What do you think, Beth?
My first thought when I saw it come up on my BBC News thing was, if I was Susanna Reid, I'd be like, oh, gosh, I can actually breathe now, be able to say what I want to say without him interjecting all the time and speaking over. And I agree with you that he was good at interviewing politicians, but he just doesn't let people talk.
Yeah.
And I think him posting on Instagram freedom of speech. That's fine, but everyone has freedom of speech.
Yeah.
So
100%.
Alex had a right to say what he wanted to say.
Yeah. But
freedom of speech does not mean freedom from consequences. If you say things, then people have absolutely your right to think things about you, to say things about you, and to react in whatever way that they, because you can't be like, oh, it's freedom of speech, and then someone says something to you and you go, how dare you?
Yeah. Well, absolutely. But you know, apparently Susanna Reid she's distraught. She's absolutely, you know, she said this morning, she said he's been my TV partner for over 5 years, and she was really distraught about it. So, you know, though when we're watching, it seems like he doesn't let her get a word in edgeway. She was obviously happy with their working relationship. Sorry, Sarah, what did you want to say?
No, I was just going to add on to what all of you have just been saying, that Meghan has just been a good interviewer, very opinionated, which is all good. But I don't think he had the right to say that Meghan was lying. He doesn't know about Meghan's mental health status. So how could you have saying that he's lying? And then it brings us back to the relationship that they had before. I think he's just someone who's just angry that he's out of Meghan's life. So he will try to say anything just to
he can't get over the fact that he can't get over the fact that she sort of cut him out, because I'm telling you now, if she rang him a few months ago and said Piers, he'd be the one sitting doing the interview with her, because he would have wanted that press. As much as I like him, you know, I can see that, you know, you can't be on national TV and be so dismissive about people's mental health. That's not okay in any way. And
actually, Meghan has actually, I think I've just seen something on my news scroll that she submitted a formal complaint to ITV about
Piers.
Yeah.
Ah, okay, interesting. Yeah. It's all. This seems to be that, you know, he's sort of had his comeuppance now, and it's sort of come back to bite him on the bum, really, doesn't it? But I don't know if any of you saw last night, there was a few things going around on social media. There was like this little thing with Piers Morgan with photos of him with different people. There was one with Epstein, Prince Andrew. What's that lady's name? Who's she's got that really funny name? Who was Epstein's partner?
Oh, Ghislaine.
Ghislaine. Yeah, there was about 4 or 5 famous people who have all been done for paedophilia, with his arms around them, smiling and saying, "Well, you've always been such a good judge of character, haven't you?" And what's his Trump? You know, but you've always been such a good judge of character, Piers. And that sort of rang a bit of a bell. I thought, Christ, look at all of those people. Is, you know, makes you think, doesn't it? And then there was also, of course, lots of the things going around on social media. So, you know, people saying this is the worst thing to happen to the royal family ever. But Prince Andrew being friends with a paedophile, that wasn't. So this whole Harry and Meghan thing, if Prince Andrew's what he's up to, it wasn't pushed down further enough, I feel like this has even exacerbated it, because that's been pushed completely to the side, because you know, that's, as we spoke about last week, shouldn't that be what we're all getting? Shouldn't that be what we're all getting irate about? It's, you know, there's this big smoke screen, but Prince Andrew is still living in the royal family. He's still a prince. He still hasn't had his interviews with the American police. So much there, but none of us are talking about that. We're talking about Harry and Meghan.
Yeah. And I mean, that just goes to show, doesn't it? I mean, think about all the, like, just disgusting allegations and all of this against Prince Andrew. But we're talking about how, you know, the royal family couldn't possibly have Archie being biracial as a prince because of the colour of his skin.
Like, exactly. Andrew hasn't been stripped of his title, has he? You know,
no, exactly.
Shouldn't, you know, if you
family, that's fine, but having someone who's, you know, mixed heritage, biracial, that's the line, is it? That's where we draw the fucking line for the sorry, my language. But that's where we draw the line.
Apologise for the language of my colleague. I feel like I'm on Good Morning Britain then. I'll just apologise for the language that just came across. Sorry, everybody watching. I'm Susanna Reid.
I said ducking.
They're just telling me in my ear, apologise for that language. I do. Georgia, you didn't mean that, did you?
I said ducking, so.
We're just getting so passionate about it all. But let's just say, look, the creator educator, she said, I think it's a positive stance for Harry and Meghan. Whilst I watched the news yesterday, all I could think about is how history is repeating itself from Diana. I think Harry and Meghan doing what is best for them and their family is a positive thing. I completely agree. He's looking after his family, like I said, 10, 15 minutes ago. He's putting his family's welfare at the forefront, and shouldn't we all be doing that? Because that's what's more important than anything. And especially someone who has seen what has happened to his mother, and such a tragic death. So
I think it scarred him in the process, his mother's death.
Oh, I think he's suffered with mental health following his mother's death, and the way, like, I think, Georgia, you mentioned it last week, making him walk behind the coffin in front of the world at his mother's funeral. I mean, can you even imagine that? But because that was protocol of how the royal family do it, that's what they had to do. And they put them children on show for everybody. And yeah, I think Harry has had a real tough childhood and probably adolescence, and that's probably why he turned into Party Harry and went a bit crazy, because he needed some sort of release.
Absolutely.
But all of it, I think it's just all very sad, and I think I just wish them well now. I honestly wish them well. I think people just leave them alone, let them do their thing, and let's concentrate on starting up a campaign to get Andrew sorted in whatever way that can be, because that's really what our focus should be on. Unless has anyone else got anything they want to add to Harry and Meghan or Prince Andrew before we move on, or Piers? Let's
positive note. So I saw an article this morning, I'm not sure about the accuracy of it, but they were picking up on the dress that Meghan was wearing during the interview.
Oh, I have some,
and there was on the dress is a lotus seed, which represents new beginnings and fresh starts, which I don't know if she did that intentionally, but I think that's something that's quite nice.
That's nice. I bet that was intentional. A little subtle meaning. Yeah. Sorry, Sarah, what did you want to say?
No, I was just going to say that I'm glad Harry and Meghan had this interview. So I think it has just been an eye-opener to a lot of people to what goes on in the Institute. And I hope many people will just believe them, believe what they said, and then let just the two continue with the life the way they want it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Definitely. And sort of tying into that, it was International Women's Day on Monday. And what was really ironic was, we're all sending, putting out Facebook posts and Instagram posts, raise strong women, be strong women. Let's all stick up for, let's empower women. But everyone's slating Meghan on the same day. It's like, well, which is it then? And she's one of the, I know I'm going back into it now, but just before we go on, she made a really quite a valid point when she said, I've always fought for women to have a voice, and then when Oprah said, well, was you silent or was you silenced, and she said the latter, which is really sort of interesting, isn't it?
That hit me really hard when I saw that, because I was like, that just goes to show that you can be a powerful woman, you can be someone who is very outspoken, who is very ambitious, all of these things, and you can still find yourself in a situation where you feel like your voice has been taken away.
I literally, I think it was on, it was somewhere I read it. It probably wasn't very reliable, I'm sorry for my reliability, but it was like they were talking about Fern Cotton, and they were like, so why was everybody saying, oh, it was really bad for Fern Cotton to do what she did? Was it Fern Cotton? Whoever died of suicide a bit ago.
Caroline Flack.
That's
what? Hold on a sec, Laurel. For a minute then, I thought, what have I missed? What's Fern Cotton done?
No, sorry. Just my
Caroline
brain.
Flack, yeah.
They were talking about her and how people were like feeling really sorry for her, and then they're like criticizing Meghan over it, and I was like, both of them did similar things, but you're fine with one, but you aren't fine with the other.
Well, it's the hypocrisy, isn't it? Because we're saying with the whole Caroline Flack thing, it was the be kind, let's all be kind to each other. But with Meghan, none of us are being kind. And, you know, and that was the ironic thing on International Women's Day on Monday, and that, you know, let's all be strong, but no, but she's not allowed to be strong. She's not allowed to speak out. She's not allowed to admit she's had mental health problems, which actually for so many, not just women, for so many people to hear someone else come out and go, I've been in that place. I've been in that dark place. I've really struggled, and you can come out the other side. For some people, that's the difference in them carrying on or not. And I know that sounds really dramatic, but that's how powerful just watching someone else admit they're struggling too, how powerful that can be. So I think, you know, we have to be really mindful. And that's the other thing I kept seeing on all the social media last night was Meghan won't see you mocking her for her feeling suicidal or her mental health, but your friends who have been feeling that way will. That struck me. Because I think that's
part of that, but I didn't see the. But I saw the hot top bit that you said, but I didn't see. I didn't see the bottom bit you said. I was like,
yeah. So yeah, that struck a chord with me. That's so true. You know, you can say all you want about Meghan online. She's never going to read it. But ridiculing mental health, there's probably friends who you don't know have struggled and suffer with mental health. They'll be the ones reading that, which will then probably make them feel even less likely to be able to reach out. So
reach out can be difficult.
Yeah, definitely. Wow, that's it's really. I think the whole Harry and Meghan interview, it's been a massive thought-provoking thing for everyone, hasn't it? Whatever way you view it and look at it, it's definitely going to be a talking point for a while. And like I say, completely changed my opinion on it all. So there we go. So we've got a little bit of time left this morning. So one of the other things, we're going completely off topic now. Like, well, there's no link from Harry and Meghan's what I'm going to chat about now, but let's just go for it. Detoxing. So has anyone ever tried detoxing before? So I don't mean as in, you know, for a professional sort of help way. I mean just on a general, you feel like your body needs a bit of a rest, so I'm going to detox. So like I was reading this morning that detoxing diets are more popular now than they ever have been before. So have any of us ever done any sort of detoxing?
So I haven't done a detox like with like meals and that, but I have detoxed from like social media.
Okay.
Where I've just like not been on social media for a few days just to kind of have a cleanse, spiritual cleanse from that side of things. So I wouldn't say a detox like you're thinking, but a different kind of detox maybe.
Yeah, that's still good though. Anyone else done any sort of detoxing?
I've done the whole lemon in water thing. You know, you buy those bottles with the bit in the middle that you put the fruit in. I've done that. Not for particularly long, I have to say.
Is that all you have? Is that all you're supposed to have the whole time?
Lemon water, I think.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, that's hard going. The only sort of detoxing I've ever done is like dry January. So like just detoxing from alcohol for a month, and I find that so hard. The first few weeks are fine. A couple of weeks are fine because you think I've overindulged so much at Christmas. That's good. And my liver needs a break. My body needs a break. But then after that, the last 2 weeks are just pure hell. And to be honest, generally, I don't ever really make it those last 2 weeks. So I should just call it, you know, dry January 2 weeks, dry 2 weeks, not dry January. But it's interesting because a lot of people really rave about, you know, cleansing your body and, you know, only putting all this goodness into it. And, you know, there's mixed reports as to actually whether it does do what it's sort of supposed to, isn't it? I don't know if any of you guys have got any opinions. Sarah, have you done any sort of detoxing?
No, not really. Maybe something that I ought to try.
Yeah. I think you've got to really be in the right mind frame for it, the right mindset, haven't you? Because like I couldn't just drink lemon water and survive on that for however many days you're supposed to do it. So Chelsea says, no, I've not done a detox before. The idea sounds good, but sometimes I wonder if there are healthier ways to feel better and lose weight, if that's your goal. That's exactly what I think, Chelsea. I do think there's probably sometimes you think, you know, the more that you limit and restrict what you can have. So let's say we're going to drink lemon water for 5 days. are you then at the end of that 5 days then just going to have a massive complete binge on all the stuff you've been missing and your body's craving? And but Bepe's saying it's great, so he's obviously a fan of detoxing. I guess it's all different for
going back like a few years ago. So I used to be like really fit and healthy, like going back a while, and when I was really into like my boxing, and I used to do like Tabata, which is like when you do 20 seconds of like really intense training, and then
I thought you said Tabata then. I thought, what? Yeah, Tabata rolls. Oh yeah, I love that one.
Yeah, really intense Tabata training, where you just eat as much ciabatta as you can in 10 minutes. But yeah, when I was like really into that, I tried to do the water thing. I didn't like stop eating. But like I used to only eat chicken with vegetables like for every meal, and then I tried the water thing. So I used to have like water with like some lemon slices in it, and like I think a bit of mint, and then maybe like a couple of strawberries or something like that. And the fact of the matter is, you can't get enough from that in order for it to actually like help you. Like you. Like if you drink like a smoothie and that has like, 5 different kinds of fruit and veg in it or whatever, that's good. But if you just have like some water and just like stick a lemon in it, you're not going to get like that many nutrients.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you know what I mean? Like you'd have to squeeze the lemon, and then it'd have to be in the right like concentration, I think.
Yeah. Well, Bepe's saying, I did it for a month and I've stuck with it since. Not all about losing weight, but just to feel better and less bloated. And then he said green tea, fruit, veg, and all of that. But then, Chelsea makes a great point. I suppose everything is good in moderation. And I guess that's the key, isn't it?
Yeah, I have a saying about that. It's from my lecturer from university. Everything is a poison. Nothing is a poison. It's all about the dose. It's all about what you take it in. It's how much you take.
Yeah.
What about ricin?
Ricin?
What about ricin?
What's that?
I don't know what it is.
Ricin's a poison. If a couple of drops in it and you're dead.
Do you know what I thought you meant then? I thought this is a new diet you've done, ricing. Like you only eat rice or something. I was like, what?
Ricin.
First of all, ciabatta, and now we're doing ricin. I can't keep up with these diets.
I thought you said rice in water.
No, ricin. It's a poison. It's literally like you get it from something. It's like a plant or something like that, and then literally like a drop of it, 2 drops, and you're dead.
Well, why would you have that? I'm talking about food.
You said nothing's a poison, so I was going to say, well, rice is definitely a poison.
It's all about the dose relating to food. It was because we were talking about food.
Well, if I put a drop of ricin into your food, you're going to be dead.
If you put a drop of ricin into your rice, it's not going to be good.
No, it'll be a rice off. Or like arsenic. I don't know what your lecturer was thinking, to be honest, because I can think of several. Like nicotine, pure nicotine, that'll kill you.
Well, where's the thing pure could kill you? Lots of drugs pure could kill you.
We've gone on a bit of a turn here. We was just talking about detoxing, and now we're talking about what poisons can kill you. I don't know where this is going.
Arsenic.
Nicotine.
All I can think of is Chicago now, the musical. He just couldn't take his arsenic.
I think Laurel meant that anything in moderation, if it is food-wise, I think that's what she meant. Not all these chemicals, poison stuff.
Yeah, we've gone a bit off on a tangent here. Anyway.
I have to make it clear, because I don't know if any of you guys have got like rice and stash in your house, and you're thinking, oh yeah, that'd be good because nothing's a poison as long as it's in moderation. And I'm here to tell you guys, it absolutely is a poison, and you absolutely should not put it in your food. So as long as we're clear on that,
you're just covering our backs, aren't you?
Yeah. Do you know what? That's just the kind of person I am. Right. So come at you, and I'm trying to help. I'm trying to educate.
Well, basically, you're just trying to make up for dropping the F-bomb earlier. That's what you're doing.
I said that's where we draw the ducking line, the line of ducks in the sand.
Yeah.
You can't go over the line of ducks,
No. Definitely. Well,
Antidote.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, has anyone got anything they want to add to the whole detoxing or poison conversation? I mean, I'm not sure I know where to go from here.
I think the one thing that I always think of is detox teas. You know, you see them advertised on social media. I think they are awful, and I think they are extremely risky, and celebrities shouldn't be endorsing them.
I can't tell you how many times, not in about the past year, but I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, how many times I've been that close to ordering some of these miracle coffees that you drink, and then you lose so much weight.
I think it's such a con, and I think it's so dangerous for people.
It's just laxative, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why it's just a laxative, and if you take too much laxatives, you're gonna feel crap. You know what I mean? You're going to end up in hospital with dehydration because like, they even say on packets of gum, please, it says do not take too much of this. This can be a laxative effect, even on gum.
Yeah, but I'm really easily what's the word? I'll jump. Like if I see someone go, right, buy this. It's £50, but you will lose 2 stone in 2 days. I'm like, right, where do I sign up? I'm in. I used to be. Not so much now, but a couple of years ago, I would try any sort of fad thing because I wanted to lose weight. And, you know, I can't tell you how much. I never bought any of those sort of coffee detoxing things, but I have bought a lot of stuff over my years. None of it works. I've wasted so much money on stupid, faddy diets and products and whatnot. And actually, do you know what works? Is healthy eating. It's having a balanced diet. Is exercising. It's not rocket science. We all know what really we should be doing. I think sometimes if there's an easier option and it looks like it might work, you know, well, I used to think, oh, I'll give that a try because I can't really be bothered to do exercise or whatever it was, you know. But there's so many of these things out now, and so many people believe that they will work and they will spend their money on it, isn't there? It's worrying, actually.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say that from my side of things, it's interesting because I'm coming at this from, you know, the perspective of someone who does struggle with disability and mobility issues. So although like back in the day I used to be very fit and healthy, now I can't in the same way because of my mobility issues. So it is very tempting, like if you don't have that same kind of bodily freedom, I guess, like to do the exercise, to do this, that, and the other. It is very tempting to think, oh, well, if I can just do like a diet for 3 weeks, then it'll help me to lose the inflammation, to lose the water weight, all of this. So I think that when Luke comes back properly back to work, he's our like fitness guru, and I think it'd be really interesting if we could ask him if there are any healthy ways to lose weight, even if you do have mobility issues, and if there's any diets that he can think of that will help you to lose that kind of inflammation and that water weight. I think coming at it from the perspective of someone who can't do that, and that would be really helpful as well.
Definitely, because I think that's the thing, you know, it's not necessarily that one thing fits all, is it? You know, I'm able-bodied, I can get up and I do a boot camp 3 times a week, but like, you know, yourself, Georgia, you can't do that. So what's going to work for you? And I think that's going to be the really great thing when Luke comes back, and he's on here now. He's just said definitely sounds great. He will be able to it may be that things need tailoring to different people for different problems or issues that you've got, and like if anyone's watching and thinking, you know, I really need some help, I want to lose some weight, or I really want to find a really good diet plan or something, you just need that little bit of help to get you started, you need to let us know. So you can contact us on any social media, and you can email us at yard@communitycourtyard.org, and that's something we're all going to be really looking into as soon as Luke is fit and healthy and back with us, because I think we could all do with a little bit of help with that every now and again, couldn't we? And there's nothing to be embarrassed about or ashamed about, and going, you know what, I could just do with a little bit of guidance. Because, yeah, I mean, if I was to sit here now and list you how many different diets and stuff I've done over the years, it would take forever because I've tried everything. So, yeah, you know, it isn't that one size fits all. There's all different options and things out there for people. So, yeah, anyway, on that note, ladies, what a lovely chat this morning.
It has been.
Yeah.
Loved that. Loved it.
Right.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Georgia and I will be, and Laurel. Laurel, will you come in tomorrow? You're doing tea and toast tomorrow. We've got tea and toast again tomorrow morning at 10:30. I can't even remember what we're talking about tomorrow. I'll have to go and have a little look. Can you remember, Georgia?
I can't now.
No.
I had it in my brain like a little bit earlier, and you know when you just like, because other things happen and then you go, oh, that's gone.
Also, it will depend. Oh, I know what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about, which is another real quite important topic, this NHS pay rise that they haven't given.
Yes.
We're going to chat about that. So if you're watching and you've been affected by that, or it's something you feel really passionate about, get in touch. You can come and join us on the panel. You can comment in the chats, because it's really interesting to hear it from the side of the person who's actually is being affected by it. We're also going to have a chat about, we've got some of our uni students tomorrow again, and how COVID has really impacted their learning and their whole university experience. We touched on it very, very slightly a week or so ago, and we said we're going to revisit it because it's a huge, huge thing for a lot of people, and we sort of feel they've been forgotten about in the system, the uni students. So we're going to talk about that, and who knows what Piers Morgan does today. If he puts anything on Instagram, I might bring it up tomorrow as well. So on that note, have a great day, guys. It's a bit wet and miserable out there, but it's all sunshiny inside. So enjoy. Have a good day. Thanks for joining me, ladies. And we'll see you all soon.
Bye.
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 Bye.